Hey guys, so today is the channeling session, and I've had a few questions from you guys submitted. And so today's question, the first one is um, on the topic of having insight on staying soft and kind in the chaos of this crazy world. That's a really good question. And the second question is about investment and investing money in gold, whether this is a good time to do it or not. So there's definitely something that wants to be shared on that as well. So I'm just going to take a moment to tune in to my team of light. They are a group of angels, guides, spiritual teachers, and ascended masters. And I will take a few moments just to get into a meditative state. And their energy is one energy which speaks through me as one voice. And so I'm basically translating perceptions, ideas, vibration, and blocks of thought, essentially. So that's what's taking place. So I'm just going to take a few moments and we'll start with the first question, which is how can we stay soft and gentle in the chaos of this world? We are so excited to be connecting with you today. So let's begin. That is a very good question. Currently, you do live in a world that is full of, as you describe, chaos. There's just a lot of change, transformation, and confusion happening right now, as with any cycle. So currently, there is a whole new birthing process taking place where you are going through a planetary shift in so many different levels. And this can be felt on an individual basis, and this can also be seen in the structures of your daily life and of society. So let's begin. It really is about getting back to the basics. When there's a lot going on in your external world, it's easy, perhaps, to become swept up in it because there is momentum and energy and emotion that is shared on a global level. So you are tuning into and feeling the emotion and the thought processes that are sweeping the globe in the collective conscious of humanity. This is why it takes a little bit more awareness to stay centered right now when there is quite we could describe it as a peak of change and evolution taking place. That also means intensity to some degree, which is needed in order to, just like the birthing process, to create something new, to create a new state of being and a new baseline frequency that is accepted by humanity on a global level. So there's a huge shift in consciousness and awareness taking place right now. So how to stay heart-centered, soft and kind amongst the change and contrast and chaos, as you describe, in your world. It means simplification, two things. First of all, your biggest point of power and tool is your awareness. This is why many clever people have realized this, and you will notice that many people do strive to capture people's attention and awareness in order to perhaps produce certain results. And so For example, a good example of that you will know of is in advertising and marketing. They will use flashy colors and catchy words in order to captivate their audience's attention and awareness and direct them to a certain destination. And so, really, the real currency these days is actually awareness. And that is your biggest tool. And you realizing this is giving you immense power. So, the first thing, even if you are feeling like there's a lot of chaos, disharmony, difficulty around you, challenges, maybe you're even going some big personal evolution and changes within yourself, the main thing is your awareness and your focus of attention. It is like training your mind and your attention to focus on the pathways that you are wanting to experience. So within any big change, you're going to really have both ends of the spectrum quite active at the same time. So when you're going through change, you have one end of the spectrum, which is the desired result that you want and that you want to go toward, but very much also active usually in change is you also have active and quite an awareness of what you don't want. Likely you're even experiencing quite a bit of it and perhaps feeling more close to the not wants than to where you want to be. So by shifting your awareness and your perspective, knowing where you stand and focusing on the direction that you're wanting to go, and reminding yourself of why you want to go in that direction and why it's important to you, you will naturally start to take the steps in order to pave the way there. And by investing your energy through your attention in the desired results, this means that you are literally building a pathway with your energy there, rather than focusing your awareness on the lack or on what you don't want, which is what keeps you stuck in a certain situation. So even amidst the chaos, the main thing and your point of power is your awareness and your focus of attention. Place your attention on the results that you want to experience, on the feelings that you want to experience, and on appreciation and seeing the beauty in the world. Even though you may be able to see quite some things that you do not like to see, equally, because you are living in a realm of duality, you have the equal amount of good things happening at the same time. So focusing on the good things will also allow for that to grow and expand into your awareness and your existence, as you will start to be inviting more of those things into your reality and moving more effortlessly in that direction as you focus your attention that way. So that's one thing, focus of attention. Second thing is the heart center. So even amongst chaos, challenge, and difficulty, if you bring your awareness back to the center of your being, your heart, you will notice that with some practice of doing this, this can be just taking a few moments of deep breathing, focusing your awareness on your heart center, or even a short meditation for 5 to 10 minutes. As you do this, you are bringing your awareness back into the present moment and tuning into the wisdom of the energy field that surrounds you. You're connecting to your heart center, which is actually the portal of connection to infinite intelligence, to everything. And in doing that, that brings you back into your truth, into your alignment of your highest good and potential. And it gives you a much bigger moment to take a step back of your daily life and to take the bigger picture and perspective. It gives you a leverage. So coming into the heart center, taking a few breaths, and doing this regularly throughout the day. A good idea would be to have some kind of ritual where this is just what you do each day at a certain time for a certain amount of time. And as you do it, you will build that practice of coming back into the present moment and connecting to your heart. And that's when you will have the clarity. That's when you will see the higher perspective on what's going on. That's when you're receptive and able to really receive that insight, clarity, and guidance, and to feel connected to the whole. And in doing that, you're deeply shifting your vibrational frequency as well, as the heart has got an energetic field that largely surpasses and will override any other vibrational frequencies that you have going on. So even if, for example, you've been in not such a good feeling space for a really long time, the power of doing these heart-centered meditations daily gives you such a elevated and strong emotion of connection and love with practice that it actually can reboot the system and your baseline vibration. And in doing that over time, not even necessarily that much time, we can even say just over a few weeks, but doing it consistently, you'll start to notice big shifts within your vibrational frequency, within your emotions, and within your state of mind as well. So those are some powerful ways that you can come back to your center and remain kind, soft, and open and receptive in the midst of chaos. It's just connecting to your true self and your true nature, essentially. And it's just a reminder to do that. And so, building on the previous question, let's address the next. So this is also a very good question. It addresses safety and security. So as we mentioned, there is a huge global shift taking place, and this can be sensed and felt. So this means that many of the social constructs that have been more or less stable or sturdy for many years are now starting to weaken, and some of them really crumble. And many more will follow, because that is the old framework, and it's very concrete, it's very stiff in a way. It's a stiffened metal framework is the best way we can describe it right now. But the thing is that the planetary shift is now shifting out of that kind of harder energy into a more feminine energy, which means that if you were to look at these in the terms of elements, before it could be described as more of an earth and fire element, doing energies, structure, rules and guidelines to follow, sectioning, including, excluding. Now what's happening is that the world is going into a more watery energy. This means unity, connection, working together instead of against each other, uniting instead of competing, holding each other up, helping each other grow rather than stomping on one another in order to achieve. And so it's quite a big shift in consciousness and awareness that's happening, and that's what is being seen in the structural system also, such as the way that businesses work, the way that the monetary system is working, the way that value is now given in the world. Even in the school systems, things just aren't working the way that they used to, because the evolution of human consciousness is really quickly surpassing that. And in this shift, at the same time, the new structures or foundations that are being built whilst all of this is taking place. So they're not finished yet. So this is why there's this confusion and a bit of stress around all of this change, because it really requires one to just take the leap of faith and build the plane once you've jumped on the way down, once you've jumped off the cliff. And being creatures of habit, people dislike that. It does not give them much certainty And it can be uncomfortable, but it is the biggest evolution and the biggest opportunity for growth and change. So we would say within the topic of investment, we can understand why people are really wanting, and this is a global phenomenon right now, as seeing so many of the monetary systems crumble is really putting some people a little bit into shock and concern about what to do next, as what they felt was once stable no longer feels that way, and for good reason. So within the term of investment, we would say that sure, it is a good idea to find a way to create some stability for yourself. However, we would say that that should not be the only focus. We will revert back to this in just a moment. So investment and savings, they're two very different things. One is coming from a more calm space of investing and creating stability for the future. One of savings could be coming from or triggered from the situation that's happening globally right now, from a fear space of doing it out of not wanting to lose money, for example. And so really it would be about flipping the perspective to, just like we were mentioning before, rather than focusing on the fear of losing investments and money and value, to flipping it into investing for something for the future that is more right now, more has a solid ground than the huge fluctuations that are taking place in the world, in the monetary system. And that could be a good way for doing that, investing in gold. This system, although it also has its fluctuations, you have to realize that anything that has value, it is a perceived, it's a perspective, albeit a kind of like a persistent perspective. However, it's still a global perspective of the value of something. And so it really depends on how that perspective shifts. And the thing is, with all of these shifts and changes, it's likely that quite a few people are also having the idea of wanting to create a bit more stability and security for themselves. Although this has not necessarily hit the masses yet, it is likely to soon. Soon, we mean within the next few years. And so those people that are really, if you were to think about this as different bands of consciousness, this is the best way to describe it. The people who are really tuned in and listening to that, and that money and investments is their realm, they're already on the bandwagon, and many of them have already done this. Many of them already have found other ways of creating a sense of stability and security for their money that seems much more stable than what's going on in the financial system right now. And it's just piercing through, so it's come through the first band of consciousness and awareness of that, and it's going into the second band now. So by the time it goes down to the end of the second band, that's really when it hits the masses. And right now you could be seeing it as coming into at the top part of the second band, more or less. So this means that more and more people are starting to think about this, which of course does also have an effect on the market. And right now, everything is very much shifting and changing, and nothing is so stable right now to be able to really foresee exactly what will be in the next 6 months to 1 year. But the main thing is that many people are starting to seek more ways of solidifying and creating more safety for their financial situation. And so it could be a good idea to do this, but what we are wanting to say is to not just invest all of the awareness in saving money. And this is the main thing. So when there are global phenomena taking place that are sweeping the world, in the collective conscious on an emotional and mental scale. This means that it affects many, many people on the planet. And what's taking place is that really it's kind of like a scare in some ways. So it's triggering quite a few fear factors within people. And what we're wanting, and then what happens is when people are triggered into fear, they might make their decisions based on that rather than using the intention to really magnify the results that they're wanting. So that's why we say, rather than buying, for example, gold in order to save money or even make money, it would be better to see it as buying gold in order to create an investment for a bit more solidity. So it's two different energies. The next thing is that, as you know, you've probably already heard this, is that safety and security is also an illusion. And so, as with anything you will have experienced in your life, it has a permanence or a feeling of permanence through the illusion and the collective vision, understanding, and value of something. But just as quickly, that can disappear. And you will have noticed this in your life. For example, one moment maybe you have a secure job and you have the contract and you have all the paperwork, and all of a sudden something happens unexpectedly and it's gone. It's not there anymore. So this can also take place. So this is why we say to take some energy to really do that and to invest and create the safety. But if it was your energy, we would say just spend like 30% or something in there, and then spend the rest on realizing that money is just energy and it's flow of value. That money is also meant to be free flowing. And so to realize that you also have the possibility to create money on a constant basis. So what we're really wanting to highlight within this talk with you is to not give away your power in the face of these circumstances, and to realize that you really hold the power within you. And this is the thing that is certain. This is the thing that doesn't change. That you hold the power to create your own reality, and you hold the power to be able to create more money all of the time by giving value and receiving that value back. So the main thing here is to not necessarily get worried about savings, but to realize your own worth and value, and to make sure that you're really seeing those, because that can be one of the biggest kind of blocks to income and abundance, and is if you are not seeing your own value and worth, and therefore you are maybe even giving it all and not receiving the equivalent back, or maybe you're not giving it all because you don't believe in yourself, you're not too sure what to do. So upon this topic, it's really important for you to see the value of who you are, see what your gifts are and what you're good at, and to really recognize yourself for that, and to share from that space of your heart, and to be open to receiving the equal measures of value back. And that really is how abundance and financial prosperity takes place, offering true value to help others and really recognizing that value and being completely open to receiving the same measurements back. So that's the main thing we wanted to highlight for you guys. So we're taking out a bright yellow marker pen and saying, do not give away your power in these times. Create the sense of stability with the inspiration and the intuitive guidance that you receive, but do not focus all of your attention on that, and more focus your awareness on your value, your self-worth, offering high value that's going to help people from your heart center see the value that you offer, most importantly, and then be open to receiving that monetary value back in exchange of energy. So that was quite a big topic to be discussing, and we're sure there will be more to come soon. If this has sparked questions for you, we are always here. We have highly enjoyed connecting with you, and we send you so much love and so much support, and we're eager for you and your pathways. Tune into that excitement, and we send love, abundance, and blessings your way. Okay, so my laptop is actually locked and I can't get back into it right now. But I think it's still recording. So there you have it. My team of lights, guidance, and perspective on those two topics. I hope you enjoyed that. They really, at the end there, sent so much love and light to you guys. They just have so much love for you, and that I can feel that. I get goosebumps and tingles when they're like sending out the positive vibes and the love. So I hope you guys felt that. Often throughout channeling sessions, it can also resemble like a healing session. So you may have even been aware of coming into more of a calm state of being, sometimes meditative, sometimes trance-like, like an expanded perception and state of awareness. You might have even noticed energy moving through you, or tingles or things like this around you as well, because often just in these conversations with their energy coming through, they always say that well, actually it's for me to share with you, but they always make clear to me that it's not necessarily about the words and the concepts and of what's being shared that's important. It gives us understanding and perspective. However, really the important part of this is actually the energy and the connection that we are sharing in these interactions, which really helps to bring clarity, healing, and a shift in perspective. So I really hope that you guys had an experience of that. I can feel that. I certainly could. It's been a pleasure to share with you guys. Have a lovely day or evening, depending on where you are. The next session will be a healing session. So I'll make a little poll on the Facebook group, and you can request a topic of what you would like some healing on. Maybe it's heart chakra, maybe it's relationships, maybe it's energy balancing, maybe it's energy clearing. I'm not too sure, but whatever's going on for you, you can make a request for that energy healing session. And I look forward to seeing you very soon. So much love to you.